But again, welcome. Thank you for joining us. And with that, I will hand things off to Jacob. So thank you, Jacob, for being here.
Awesome. Thanks, Alex. Super excited to walk through, as Alex said, some of our top features. Just to kick it off, kind of background of Jubilee TV. It's a two-part solution. First part is the Jubilee TV console. So that's this piece of hardware that you receive when you sign up for your membership. The console is installed next to the TV user or your loved one's TV. You'll see here in a second, mine's positioned on top of my TV. This is installed in your loved one's home next to their TV. With the Jubilee TV console, this is where you're going to connect your source devices. And so if you have a streaming player, a cable or satellite set-top box, you're going to connect those via HDMI into the Jubilee TV console. And then you will connect your TV to this HDMI out. Alongside the Jubilee TV console, you also have the opportunity for two remotes that come standard. One is the full features remote, and so that's this Jubilee TV voice remote. And the console also comes with this remote cover, which hides every button other than volume up, volume down, mute, channel up, channel down, and then the power and the Jubilee TV button up here. You can also elect to add on a 6-button remote, which just has that volume up, volume down, channel down, mute, and power when you're signing up for your membership and checking out. So I'm gonna share my screen here. And what you see is two-part. So on the left, you see my TV with the Jubilee TV console installed, and on the right, you see the Jubilee TV app. As we walk through the features here, we're going to talk about some app-specific features as well as some TV-specific features, but you'll be able to kind of see what the experience would be for you as a family member in the Jubilee TV app on the right, as well as what your loved one or that TV user will experience with their TV interaction. So what we're looking at now on the TV is what we call the Jubilee TV home screen. This is a launch pad, if you will, to access content or Jubilee TV features. I have two source devices. I have a DirecTV a set-top box is one of my source devices, as well as a Roku. Also here on this screen, you can access photos and videos that have been sent, as well as some additional items. So the first thing I'm going to show you is kind of the ease of TV control with the voice remote. So if I go to Roku as an example, let's say we're watching something on Roku. If the TV user wants to watch a specific TV channel, all they have to do is press and hold this voice button, say that name of the channel or the channel number, and we're going to take you over to DirecTV and we're going to launch that channel. So if I say ESPN, you'll see here we're going to head over to DirecTV and we're going to tune to ESPN. Sorry, the focus is slightly off, but now we're going to show ESPN as a channel. Equally, I can say the names of Roku apps such as Netflix. And we're going to launch the Netflix app on Roku. With the Jubilee TV remote, you have full control over both your TV as well as your source devices. So I can control the volume with the Jubilee TV remote. I control the TV power, but also, for example, if I launch into DirecTV here, I can press the guide button on the Jubilee TV remote and fully interact with the content that your loved one, that TV user, is familiar with watching. That's the case for any source device that you might have. And I'll also call out here, it's important to note, you do have to have a source device to use Jubilee TV. And so you have to have something that will send an HDMI signal from that source device into the Jubilee TV console. When you utilize a remote like the remote cover or the 6-button remote, that makes it an even simpler experience where you're not actually going to see this Jubilee TV home screen. That's best used for someone who only watches cable TV, as an example, and only watches a certain number of channels, right? Let's say maybe 10 to 15 channels. When you're using that 6-button remote and you're toggling with channel up or channel down, it's only going to cycle through those favorite channels that you set. And I'll show you kind of what that looks like once we navigate over to the app here. So perfect transition into the Jubilee TV app. That's what the TV watching, TV interaction experience is going to be for your loved one, for that TV user. Well, when we look at the Jubilee TV app and some of our kind of like marquee features, if you will, they're bucketed into what I call three different buckets. One is TV control, another is communication, and then the third is remote caregiving. So TV control is kind of as straightforward as it sounds, right? The name of that feature is called Telescope. And when I access Telescope with my Jubilee TV app, you'll see that I can fully navigate the TV as if I'm standing in front of the TV using the Jubilee TV remote. So this is a kind of a virtual remote, if you will, on the app on the right. So if I press the right arrow, that's going to navigate over to Roku. I can launch into Roku here. Let's navigate through Netflix. Um, and sorts of internet must be a little slow. So as I make changes, you can see on the left it's happening on the TV as well as you can see it on the right here in Telescope in the app. Also, while using Telescope, there's some communication features, and so at the top right you see communicate. We have what we call talk mode and listen mode. And so talk mode allows you to communicate to your loved one, to the TV user while you're using Telescope. So if I enable talk mode, what I'm saying into my phone's microphone right now is being shared on like through the TV. And so the TV user can hear you talking as you're navigating through the TV. And then listen mode allows you to hear what like the noise that's present in the room, and so you can check the TV volume through listen mode. It is a positive use case for that listen mode communicate feature. Also within Telescope, if we scroll down a little bit here, you have one of the favorites. I mentioned favorites earlier, and so when you set up Jubilee TV, you'll set custom favorites, and so mine are CNN and ESPN. You can launch those directly from this quick action button here in Telescope, as I just did. And then also any of those Roku app favorites. So I have Amazon and Netflix. By pressing that, it's going to take us over to the Roku, and it's going to launch the Amazon Prime Video app. Alex, I'll pause there for questions on TV control or Telescope. I kind of bundled them together this time. I probably should have paused after the first part of TV control. But do we have any questions, or shall we move along?
Yeah, no big questions yet. The one that came in that maybe we could use some elaboration on is for a Jubilee TV user whose loved one has trouble speaking. Is the remote easy for them to use? And so I believe that would just restrict them from using the microphone commands, but otherwise I believe the experience would be exactly the same, correct?
Yeah, exactly. So the voice control is additive to utilizing the Jubilee TV remote to control to control your devices, and so you can still press the physical buttons on the Jubilee TV remote to control the system.
Okay, perfect. And then we do have one other question that came in. That previous question came in from Amy. This new question is from Cynthia. She wanted to know how we can set up favorites, which I know you just gave a quick overview of a second ago.
Absolutely. So if I go into the gear icon here in the Jubilee TV app, um, I have two source devices. I have DirecTV and I have Roku. And so with my DirecTV, I can click Manage Channel Favorites, and this is going to show me a list of all the channels that I have access to. And so I just search for a channel. Let's do HGTV. I'm gonna oop, autocorrect got me there. Select that channel, save those changes, and I come back here, and then HGTV is now a part of my channel favorites. So I will see it in Telescope using this quick action here at the bottom, as well as on the TV by navigating to favorites. I will see HGTV as one of my TV channel favorites. Same process for adding favorites for a Roku app. Just here in the settings of the console and the Jubilee TV app, to scroll and manage those app favorites.
Excellent. A question from Mike. Can I schedule the TV to turn on and tune to a specific channel, or are those changes live? And so the answer is yes, but I'll let Jacob take it from here.
Yep, answer is yes. Mike, I'll ask you to hold on just a little bit. We're going to talk through reminders as a part of our communication aspect. And so we'll get to that here in a second. But yes, you can.
Awesome. So we have a few more questions, but we can keep moving for now, and then I'll address those as we go along.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Alex. So one other area here in Telescope that I want to talk about is this actions area. Um, two tabs here towards the bottom, favorites and actions. Actions are quick buttons for the Jubilee TV console to take an action, for the lack of a better term. From here, you can launch photos. And so this launches the photos aspect, and you can cycle through a slideshow. Equally, you can start the slideshow itself as well as control the movement between photos from within Telescope. And then also one setting here, this is a sleep timer. This allows you to go in and say, after X amount of time, I want the TV um, to turn off. So that's like a one-time sleep timer. So if you know mom or dad's they're watching a show, it'll be over in 2 hours. You could come in here and set a sleep timer and say turn the TV off 2 hours later. Um, Also here in Telescope, right, like full control over the TV. You've got the volume control, mute, unmute. This command section here allows you to type in things like a TV channel. So if I type in the name, TV channel name HGTV, this is going to launch DirecTV and it's going to tune us over to HGTV. So the next set of features that I want to walk through is what we call our communication features. I'll first start with reminders, which Mike, your question will address here. Reminders that can be two-part, right? So when you create a reminder, there's two types of reminders that you have the ability to create. One is a reminder with an automated action, and the other is just a simple reminder. When you create a simple reminder, this is just you saying you want to send a message to the TV at a scheduled time, right? So medication reminder, a happy birthday message, a message that reminds mom or dad that you're picking them up for an appointment later. Here's an example here. So take your medication. In creating that simple reminder, you just put basic information. So in the name, we'll do take meds. And then in description, we can say, take your heart meds. Here that when you in the process of creating your reminder, you'll determine the timing for that reminder. So when you want it to start, like what will be the time you want to send the reminder, as well as if you want it to repeat. So let's say mom takes her heart meds at 8 p.m. every night. And does this every night. So I would set it to repeat every day. So every day at 8 p.m., this message is going to be sent and will appear on the TV. Additionally, when you're creating this reminder, you can have the TV turn on if the TV is off, as well as play a chime. And so the chime will kind of bring like visual attention to the TV, as well as the ability to turn on the TV here. So let's say I do want to turn on the TV and play that chime. Auto dismiss, I do not want to have this automatically dismissed because I want to make sure that mom sees it. And then when I create the reminder, I have the ability to be notified when that reminder gets sent as an app member. And not just me, but also other people that are utilizing the Jubilee TV app. You can have as many or as little family members or friends with access to the Jubilee TV app. We call them contacts. So you can have unlimited contacts with Jubilee TV included in your membership. So that reminder's been set. So at 8 p.m. tonight, a message will appear on the TV reminding mom to take her heart medication. As far as rescheduling content to appear on the TV, Mike, to your question, that's what we call a reminder with an automated action. So for example, I have one created here already for news. So we'll just go in and we'll kind of view the information here, and then I'll actually reschedule this, and then we'll watch kind of like what happens on the TV itself. So the title I put here is news. I want it to tune to CNN. So that's the action that I want it to take. And let's have this scheduled for, let's see, it's 6:49. So let's do 6:50. And I want it to repeat every day at 6:50. And I do want it to turn the TV on if the TV is off. So let's save these changes. And then here in about 45 seconds or so, we'll see that notification appear on the TV. and it will take us from what we're currently watching HGTV now over to that CNN channel. That notify me setting that I talked about can be enabled or disabled from this home screen. I'm going to turn it on so that I can show you what that will look like um, the on the app side as well on the TV side. Just about 20 more seconds. I'll have you wait. I wanted to give it enough lead time so that they have to schedule in minutes, can't schedule in seconds. So we'll wait just a couple more seconds and then we'll see this appear on the TV. There we go. So you see on the left on the TV that news reminder was sent. I got that notification in the Jubilee TV app, and you see it counting down. So in 2 more seconds, it's going to acknowledge, and it's going to tune to CNN, which for me is channel 202. So that's reminders. That's the first part of our communication kind of feature set. Alex, should we answer some questions on reminders if you have any?
Yeah, we have a couple questions related to reminders and then otherwise, so I'll try to get through the relevant ones in
Okay,
order here. Um, do you mind if I ask a few quick non-related to reminders
sure.
questions?
Yeah.
Perfect. So Amy asked when her loved one is at home and turns on the TV, will they see all of those choices that are on the Jubilee TV home screen, or can it look like the familiar TV screen that their loved one might be used to? And then before you answer that, a similar question came in, so maybe we can just lump them together. Connie asked if their loved one can continue using their regular cable remote, or if they can just use the other functions of the Jubilee TV as the family member. And so I think these are both just a quick, a good time to just mention passive modes.
Absolutely. Yes. So to the first question, when you turn the TV on, it's going to show you whatever the last thing was that you were watching. So, like if you're watching DirecTV and then you turn the TV off, so I'll turn my TV off here. When I turn the TV back on, it's going to show me the source that I was previously watching, and so that would be DirecTV. And so it doesn't automatically go to that Jubilee TV home screen when the TV turns back on. So while we wait for the TV to turn back on here, let's talk through passive modes. So if I go to usage mode in the app, there's four different usage modes that you can utilize with Jubilee TV. The first is interactive mode. And so that's the mode that we have been using to date. That gives you full features of or all the features of Jubilee TV, and that's where you use this the full Jubilee TV remote. The second usage mode is what we call passive mode with the original remote. And so this allows your loved one, that TV user, to continue using the remote that they're familiar with. The third is passive mode with the simplified Jubilee TV remote. And so this is the remote cover. And then the fourth is Jubilee TV with the 6-button remote. When you're navigating to, and Alex, this might be a good follow-up because usage modes can be a little in depth. But when you enable a usage mode, there's different features that you have access to and don't have access to based off of the usage mode that you choose. And so there's a really good like knowledge base article that we have that kind of goes through each of those usage modes.
Yeah, and I'll share a link to that, those passive modes and usage modes in our follow-up email. So if anyone has additional questions on that, you can always ask us by replying to us via email, or I'll share that link as well for the deeper article. Thank you, Jacob. Two more
Of course.
questions. These ones are related to photos and videos. Leona asked where photos are stored and is there a limit? And then Valerie asked how she could upload a video for her loved one.
So photos and videos is actually the next
Ah,
communication. I
okay.
get a kind of feature set that we'll walk through. Should we do any questions on reminders, or should we just go ahead and move over to photos, videos?
I believe, oh, sorry, there is one from Jeannie. Can the reminder be read to them? Her mom is visually impaired. I believe the answer is unfortunately no, but Jacob, is there more that we could add there?
Correct. It just shows the message on the TV. It doesn't read that reminder out. but we should tell Nino, who leads our product team about that as an enhancement request.
Yeah, that's a really good suggestion. So I'll send him a note about that now, actually. One final question before we move forward. Does it matter which version of Roku is used with our device?
Great question. So we support any Roku and really any source device for that matter. So the Roku stick, you can utilize the Roku stick. The one thing that I'll say about the Roku stick is that when you get it, it comes with a cable for power, but it doesn't come with that little adapter to like plug it into the wall. And so I would find one of those like USB A to like wall power adapters for the Roku stick. So you could use a Roku stick, or you could use the Roku Ultra. Both work successfully with Jubilee TV, and both support the launching of app favorites.
The Express would work as well, right, Jacob?
Yes, if you can still find an Express. So the Express was recently sunsetted by Roku, and so like I
Mhm.
still think you can find them. They're going to support it for like forever probably because that's what Roku does. So yeah, right, really any Roku, the stick, the Express, or the Ultra.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And then one
Yep.
more question before we move on. This one comes from Chris. This is another one kind of related to setting up. So her loved one is in a assisted community, and they use Spectrum. The community pays for that service. And so she wanted to ask how she could know or confirm if Jubilee TV would work at that facility. I believe the one caveat to keep in mind here is that some assisted living facilities and communities will use coax cables for their cable connection. Coax cable connection is the one restriction or limitation that is difficult with our device. If they're not using coax, then we should be okay. So that would be the one question that I would likely ask them, Chris. Jacob, is there more that you would add there?
I would just echo what you said. As long as it's an external set-top box that has an HDMI out, there's a very high chance that will work successfully with our solution. For us, it doesn't the um, whether or not like you pay for Spectrum or the community pays for Spectrum, like it for us, it's just an HDMI input. So as long as you have that source device, then you'll be in good shape.
Perfect. And just speaking of source devices, so our device can support up to three source devices. And
Correct.
to get through setup, you will need at least one source device. And as Jacob mentioned before, if you're using streaming devices, you could use any Roku product. You could use an Amazon Fire Stick. We usually recommend Roku because that has a deeper integration with the favorites that you can have on your Jubilee TV. Um, but when it comes to source devices, the one thing that I think maybe we should add here, Jacob, is talking about smart TVs where Roku might be built into a pre-existing TV and just adding that distinction between the built-in Roku and then the Roku that we'd be plugging into the Jubilee TV itself.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a little confusing. Jubilee TV works with a smart TV. We just can't control the apps on that smart TV. So when you think about how Jubilee TV interacts with your TV itself, um, the Jubilee TV will control the volume up and down. It can control mute, and it can control power. It won't be able to control, or you won't be able to use Telescope, more importantly, for any apps that are on your TV itself. And so if you have a Roku TV or if you have a Fire TV, and even like a Samsung TV that has like the apps on it, and you're currently using the TV in that manner, you'll want to get an external streaming device so that you can plug that into the Jubilee TV console, and control that streaming device with Telescope.
Perfect. Thank you, Jacob. With that, there's a couple other questions, but I think we can move forward for now, and I'll answer some of these in the comments, and then we can come back to the live ones after.
Awesome, perfect. Yeah, so let's talk photos and videos. Um, so you send photos and videos from the Jubilee TV app to the TV. And so here within the Jubilee TV app, you can send photos and just select the photos that you want to send from the photo library on your phone. Similar methodology for the videos. There is no limit to how many photos or videos that you can send. I will say the you want to kind of be like cognizant and aware of Like if you are utilizing photos for the slideshow, right, and you send like a bunch of photos, it might take a while for those photos to cycle through. And so the photos stay on the TV for a couple of seconds, and then it'll move over to the next photo. Oops, sorry, I just paused it. It'll move over to the next photo, and so just to be cognizant of like how many photos you might send. Videos as well. There's no limit. I think there might have been a technical question of where the photos themselves are stored. So that's two part. When you upload a photo, it's stored in our cloud, right where our servers are. But it's also the photos and videos are like halfway cached, if you will, on the console itself, which makes loading much quicker. So when you go into the slideshow, those photos are going to load much quicker. And at any time, if you want to remove a photo or a video, you just press this delete photo from within the app, and that's going to be it'll be permanently removed from the slideshow as well as the app. So that's photos and videos. One of the most popular features of Jubilee TV, and the third feature we'll talk about as it relates to communication, is video calling. And so on the Jubilee TV console, there's an onboard camera. It does have a camera cover for privacy, and so this is like a physical cover that you can use to cover that camera. Um, when you do a video call, you are video calling from your app, the Jubilee TV app on your phone, to the TV with the console. There's two types of video calls: an auto connect video call and a regular video call. The only difference between the two is a regular video call requires that the TV user, your loved one, um, explicitly accept or decline the call by pressing the green check or the red X. And so I'll show you that kind of behavior. I just started a video call from the app. This is a normal video call, right? So on the left, your loved one, the TV user, can see that I am calling. They then have to press the green check or the red X on the Jubilee TV remote. So if I decline the call on the TV, you're going to see here I got a message in the app that says that the TV user declined the call. The second type of video call is an auto connect video call. This gives the app user the ability to kind of adjust some of those settings to initiate that video call. So when you're calling with auto connect, you can elect to connect after 15 seconds or connect immediately. If you choose 15 seconds, that message will pop up on the TV and it will count down from 15 before connecting to the call. Or you can connect immediately. Also have the ability to turn on the TV webcam by when the call automatically starts. By default, if this is unchecked, the call will start and will begin as an audio only call, and then the TV user has to turn on the TV webcam. So we'll keep turn on TV webcam on. So when I call with Auto Connect, you're going to see a lot of me here. I think the 3 or 4 different versions of me as we go through the video call experience. So on the right, you see what I am seeing as the app user. And so that's actually the webcam that is showing you the TV view, but that's my office. That's the camera that is on the console. So I'm waving my hand in front of that here. On the right, so this is like my video on from my phone. You'll see here I can control the TV volume up and down. So if mom or dad says, "Hey, I can't hear you," or "You're too loud," you can control that TV volume from within the video call experience. You can also turn the TV video cam off from within this video call experience as an app user. And then you have the other kind of like normal video call settings, right? Mute, stop your own video, flip your camera around so you can show something that's happening on the other side of your phone. You'll notice here when you're looking at the TV, these live captions. So what Jubilee TV does in real time is live captions the audio that's coming from me as the app user. So as I'm talking into my phone on the Jubilee TV app, we are live captioning what I'm saying on the TV for the TV user to read along, as well as hearing my voice through the video call. I also want to call out the one of our features. It's called memories. So if mom or dad says something funny, or you're reminiscing and they share a memory, you can press this record button and it's gonna, excuse me, moment. It's gonna capture this moment, and it actually captures the last 2 minutes of that video call, and saves it to the Jubilee TV app, so then you can download that to your local device, like photos and videos library, and save that moment, save that memory for the future. Video call can be one to one, right? So single app user talking to the TV user. But video calls do support up to 4 people total. And so that includes the person using the TV as well as the person that started the video call on the app. You can invite um, other contacts directly to the app, and then their app will ring and they can join that call. But you can also invite others with what we call guest link, which gives you the ability to create a unique link to this video call itself. So you can copy that video call link and send it in a text message or an email to somebody, and they can join just this version of the video call. Once the video call ends, that link expires, and they're not able to continue using video calling with Jubilee TV. So I will now um, end the video call. One thing to call out, let's say the TV's off when you make a video call utilizing the Jubilee TV app to the TV. Jubilee TV knows the power state of the TV, so you can actually see it here in the Jubilee TV app. So we know that the TV is on. So if the system knows that the TV is off when you do a video call, we're going to turn the TV on, and we're going to send a couple of volume commands just in case the TV is muted as well. And so there's no like risk or worry that if the TV's off, is mom or dad going to miss my call because the TV was off? Alex, questions on video call?
Yes, we have a few questions that have come in. I don't believe, one were regarding video call. Jeremy asked, can the closed captioning be turned off?
It can, yes. So closed caption is a setting um, here in the Jubilee TV app for that console. There's actually a couple of options here. You can turn them off altogether, or you can adjust how big they are. So you can do small, medium, or large live captions. This is a setting for the entire account. And so if you want to turn on or off TV live captions, once you turn them off, they're turned off for every video call. And equally, when you turn them on, they're on for every video call.
Perfect. Steve, just to answer your question quickly, yes, this webinar is being recorded, and I will be sharing this recording on YouTube and then sending a link with that tomorrow. So no worries if you want to share this with other family members who couldn't attend the demo today. A couple other questions for you, Jacob, and then we can move on. These ones are not necessarily
Yep.
related to the most recent feature demo. Um, Amy asked how long a reminder will stay on screen. So this is talking about our reminders feature again.
So the reminder will stay on the screen. So when we, let's see if I can quickly do this. When you when you create your reminder, there's this auto dismiss functionality. Um, and so you can elect for the reminder to persist on the TV for forever. So you don't want to auto dismiss the reminder in the case in which you want it to stay there for forever. Or you can elect to have it be dismissed. And there's a couple of options here. Oh, um, so 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, 4 hours, 12 hours, 24 hours. So you have full control over how long you want it to, for that reminder to stay on, the TV.
Perfect. A quick question from Jay. Jay, I just wanted to ask if you could clarify your question. That would help a lot, just so we give you the right answer. I'll be on the lookout for that in a second in the chat. There's another question that came in from Amy. Amy asked, can we operate the DVR from the Jubilee TV or the app?
Yes. So I don't have a DVR, but I can kind of walk you through what the experience would be. So if you have a DVR and you press the guide button with the Jubilee TV remote, this little box is going to appear on the TV. So you see, if I can get it to focus. Sorry about that. So top left over here is the guide, and this says guide. you would see another tile that says DVR. And so you would just select DVR and it would take you into the DVR menu for your set-top box. And since you can do it with the Jubilee TV remote, you can also do it from within Telescope. Um, Actually, it's probably a better way to show you because it'll be in focus. So if I press this guide button, um, on the right where you see the little guide tile, there'll be a DVR tile there. And you select DVR and it's going to take you to that DVR menu within the set-top box for whatever provider you have.
Perfect.
The
Um,
long and the short of that, sorry, Alex, I'll add one more thing. The long and the short of that, anything that you can do with the remote that you're using right now for your source device, you can do with Jubilee TV.
Perfect. One more question, and then I'll save the other ones for the next portion. This is another question from Jeannie. She asked, can she watch TV with her loved one via the Telescope app on the phone? Parentheses around the word watch, if you will.
Yeah, so Telescope doesn't have audio unless you turn on like listen mode. Telescope is intended to be a snapshot of what's occurring on the TV, so it's not a live feed. It kind of looks like a live feed, but it's actually like a bunch of photos that are sent like in very rapid succession. And so it's not intended to kind of like do remote TV viewing, watching together. It's more intended for you to be able to navigate to create or to tune to a channel for mom or dad that when they're watching TV.
Perfect. I'll actually chime in with one more question before we move on, Jacob. So,
Yeah.
Mike asked two questions. One, he asked if we had any suggestions on how to talk about these new features with his family member who the Jubilee TV console would be with. And then his follow-up question was that his mom, or statement is that his mom has never taken a call through her TV. I think there's two ways we could take this, Mike. And so the first one is if you're asking about introducing her to the video call feature with Jubilee TV as a new user, I'll give that to Jacob to answer in a second. Um, but the second way I was interpreting this question is if mom would struggle to answer a question from us, what she can do is, sorry, what you could do is use an auto connect video call where she doesn't have to interact or press any buttons on the remote for you to initiate that video call. So there wouldn't be any learning curve for her, and you could keep it very simple to ensure that you can start that call with mom. And Jacob showed us this before, but he's got that up on screen again now. So you can essentially initiate a call and have it connect immediately without your loved one needing to press any buttons to interact with that. And then Jacob, if you could answer the first half of that question or need me to repeat it, just let me know.
Yeah, I think the question is like how do I talk to mom or dad about like the
Mhm.
value of Jubilee TV and to kind of explain the features. There's tons of resources on our website, user guides, articles. They can like talk through kind of like what the Jubilee TV experience is. A lot of our customers see success in kind of like introducing Jubilee TV with some of the like the cool features, right? So like they'll install Jubilee TV, explain to mom and dad, hey, like you can still watch TV. This is something that is additive or in addition to what you're currently doing. But let me show you something really cool and do a video call, right? And the video call, it's one underrated aspect, in my opinion, right, of video calling is that it utilizes the biggest screen and the loudest speaker, right? And so that if you're FaceTiming or like doing a Zoom call or a Meet call, right, and mom or dad are using an iPad or a phone, like that's very small, and can cause issues with or challenges with dexterity, if you will. When they see you on their big TV, it's a really cool experience. We hear from customers all the time of just like can how impactful that first video call is. Um, and then also kind of like walking through Telescope, right? Navigating the conversation and saying, "Mom, you know how you like to watch this, and sometimes you don't know how to get there. Like, let me show you how I can do it. So you just have to call me, and then I can navigate to that on your TV." I hope that answers the question as it was asked, Alex. I'm happy to. kind of reposition my answer if there's something else there.
No, I think that was a perfect way to put it. I mean, there's just so much value in using Jubilee TV and the features that we have. You might not use every single one of the features because there's so many, but even just the few most popular ones are going to add so much value for mom or dad or any loved one that hopefully showing them those things will be an occasion for joy over concern or anything else along those lines. One related follow-up question, and then we can move on. This question comes from Stacy. Um, so she's asking how many family members could download the app and use the Jubilee TV account, and then if they want to talk to her grandmother, how many of those people can be on a call at once? They have 8 members of their family who would likely use the device. So I'll take the first part of the answer here.
Yep, go ahead.
You can have any number of family members under your Jubilee TV account. Jacob is scrolling on screen now to show you this. There's a contacts tile on the app, and under contacts, you can invite any number of family members with no restriction to the account, and they can download the app, log into the same account, and then use those same features as you would. You can invite them to be an admin, in which case they would have all features and permissions similar to yourself as the primary Jubilee TV purchaser and the first person on the account. Or you could also add them just as a linked account, and you could actually toggle the permissions for each feature for them. So what this means is, let's say you want to add your uncle to the account, but you don't want him to be able to use the video calling feature or the drop-in feature, or any other feature for whatever reason that may be. You can actually restrict him from being able to use that feature under his portion of the Jubilee TV account, as long as you're the primary admin. And that's what Jacob is showing you on the screen here now. Jacob, is there anything more you would add to that?
That's perfect. The unlimited family members. The only thing I'll add is it's invite only, right? So like it's a walled garden approach, and so like in order for one of your family members to have access to the Jubilee TV account, they have to be invited, and so they accept that invitation and then create their account with Jubilee TV.
Perfect. One more video call question came in. Um, if you wanted to record a video call, how could you do that, and how could you access that recording? And then when you're done with that one, Jacob, we can jump right into the next portion.
Okay, yeah. So video calls aren't recorded other than that that moments feature that I walked through earlier. And so you're not able to like start a video call and say, hey, I want to record this. What you can do is like while the video call is occurring, if you press that like that moments button, it'll capture the last 2 minutes. But recording the act like the full video call it isn't possible currently. Awesome. So the final set of features that I'm going to walk through briefly here, let's see, we're about 45 minutes, is our remote caregiving features. And I say remote caregiving, but really kind of everything we talked about is remote caregiving. These are ways that so the first thing that I'll talk through is what we call activity feed. An activity feed is like a running list of events that occur at the highest level. And it's a great way to like monitor routines and how those routines might be changing. Um, and so for example, let's tap into, let's see, the 6 p.m. hour. That was this past hour. There's presence detection photos. And so if the system, and this is optional, the presence detection, we call it Jubilee TV Vision. When that's enabled, if the camera on the console detects somebody in front of the console, it'll snap a photo and it'll outline that photo so you can see me here kind of off in the side. The As well as when nobody is detected in front of the camera, it'll snap another photo. But it also shows remote button presses. And so any interaction with the Jubilee TV remote or telescope for that matter will appear here in activity feed. When the TV is powered off, when the TV is powered on. So earlier in the demo, we turned the TV off. You can see here that the TV off event as well as the TV on event. So this is activity feed. Like I said, it's great for kind of like monitoring those routines. You have a bunch of settings when it comes to activity feeds. I briefly want to talk through those. there's two parts to activity feed. There's just a basic activity feed, which is going to show you those like the remote use events or TV on or TV off events. Or you can enable Jubilee TV Vision, which is that presence detection and the photo snapshots. And so if Jubilee TV detects a person, it will take that photo snapshot and you'll see it in the activity feed, similar to how I was to how I was showing that earlier. Um, you also can elect like a level beneath that, right? Like when you want to take photos. And so my account is set up to take a photo every time the TV's turned on or off, as well as those presence detection photos. And you can also elect to receive notifications in a variety of ways, right? So you as an app user can elect to receive a notification when the TV is turned on, or when somebody enters the room, when the TV is turned off, when the last person leaves the room. And those come in as push notifications in on your mobile device. So like I said, activity feed great for monitoring routines. You can go back 30 days to see events. I'm not sure there's, if I go back yesterday, there's probably not a whole lot of events from yesterday, since I just set up this device. But you can go back a full 30 days and see kind of that time log, if you will, of events that occurred. And then the second feature that we'll talk through as it relates to remote caregiving is drop-in. And so when I start a drop-in session, this is creating a one-way audio and video feed from the TV to the Jubilee TV app. Drop-in's like super powerful and widely used amongst our customers to see if mom and dad are in front of the TV before starting a video call, as an example. But it's a great way for you as an app member to just get quick eyes and ears into the room. You'll notice on the left, it's not taking over the TV at all, right? So it's not interrupting that TV experience or creating like a bi-directional audio and video feed. It's just taking the video feed from the Jubilee TV camera and the audio feed from the Jubilee TV and sending that over into the Jubilee TV app for that Jubilee TV app user to access. A couple of other small features that's remote caregiving. A couple of other small features I will walk through. Finding the Jubilee TV remote. So if the remote gets lost, you can play a chime. I'm not sure how well you can hear this with my AirPods, but playing a chime, the remote itself is going to chime, so you can help just help mom and dad find that remote. But believe it or not, this is actually something that I personally use quite often with the Jubilee TV in my living room. I can't tell you how many times the remote gets stuck in between the cushions and I can't figure out where it is. We talked through photos and videos. We talked through reminders and of course the communication features. Back over to you, Alex.
Yep, so we have a handful of questions that came in. I will try to answer some of them that are related and share those at the same time. One quick, short one before we actually get into the related questions. Um, Livy just received her Jubilee TV in the mail, and she was just
Oh,
curious about how to open the box. She wanted to know if she has to rip or cut open the white paperboard sleeve, or if there's another way to open it that she might be missing, just to
the
make sure she doesn't break anything.
of course, yeah. I have one here. I'll stop sharing my screen so you can see me a little bit better. It slides off, but it's kind of tight, right? So like I'll try to do this with my background, but the you just pull this little brown part out in the well,
I mean,
all
so it takes a minute and it's hard to get back in there too.
right.
You totally can rip the sleeve. There's nothing special about it. I mean, it's a cute sleeve. So if you wanted to save the box, you could. But if you're someone who doesn't want to save everything, I would personally just cut it with scissors and call it a
Yeah.
day. Because it's not,
Once yes, once you get the sleeve off, it's protected in this internal box, so you're not going to break anything.
yeah. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Jacob.
Sorry,
Um,
I was hoping that would be quicker. You can see me
yeah.
awkwardly try to open a box.
No, it's all good. So we do have a handful, probably like half a dozen questions here that are all sort of moving around the same topic, which is usage
Okay.
modes and the different remote modes. And so
Yep.
I want to try to get through some of these and maybe just have a quick conversation about that again, just to clarify some of those instances.
Yep.
Um, the first one that came in, let's see. Actually, so Jay had a question earlier that he clarified for us. He was wondering if his dad gets into the Roku app, but is on the home, or maybe is on the home screen, and he presses the channel up button on the remote, what that would do to the Jubilee TV, and if that would leave the Roku, or would it go to a favorite channel? And so, then he clarified further that his dad very simply understands channel up and channel down pretty well, but can get lost with other features of a remote. And so, Jay, in your instance, what it sounds like might be best for dad here would be to want to be using one of our Jubilee TV passive modes. And so, in those passive modes, you could either have him use his original remote, or he could use our 6 button simplified remote, or the remote cover, all of which are what Jacob is showing on screen currently. Um, Using these remotes will dramatically simplify his experience. Some individual features will be limited with this, but it sounds like in your case that might be better for dad. And the other thing I would add here is that you can actually set cable box favorites so that the channel up and down buttons only go to those favorite channels that dad would want to watch. Jacob, is there more you would add to that?
Yeah, so that's what we call this remote configuration. And so if dad is only watching what we call linear cable, right? So what's coming from a Spectrum box or an Xfinity box or a DirecTV box, if you're using the 6 button remote or the remote cover, you can change the setting here in the app where to favorites only, channel up and down, and then by pressing, um, actually, I can do this and I can just show it to you. Um, let's go to DirecTV. So if you remember, I have three favorite channels. I have CNN, ESPN, and HGTV. When I press the channel up button, we're going to go to ESPN, which is 206. If I press the channel up button again, we're going to go to 229, which is HGTV. And then if I press the channel up button again, we're going to jump right back down to CNN, which is 202. And so it just navigates through those channels that dad normally watches. Um, that the channel up and down functionality to kind of answer Jay your question specifically earlier about if dad presses channel up or channel down when he's in Roku, that's not going to do anything because there is no channel up and channel down button for Roku. So dad would have to use the like up, down, left, right, or you would navigate through the Roku interface through Telescope.
The other caveat or thing to mention that I would want to add to this, Jacob, is depending what usage mode you're using for your loved one's Jubilee TV, the one thing that we are always going to recommend in the way that you should be using the device is you should only have one remote at a time being used by your loved one. So let's say you were in Jubilee TV's interactive mode, or you were in one of our passive modes. Um, Whichever remote you're supposed to be using in that mode is the only one that your loved one should have access to. What could happen and what we've seen happen before, which thankfully is a quick fix but can be a little tricky, is let's say your loved one is using the Jubilee TV remote with their Jubilee TV in our normal mode, but you leave the regular remote in mom or dad's room, and maybe they're not used to it yet and they accidentally pick up their original remote. If they press something on that remote, the TV might pick up that signal and navigate them off of the Jubilee TV input, and then getting them back onto the Jubilee TV input could be a little bit of a headache depending if you have to go in person or not. And so um, we always recommend that you hide the original remote or put it out of the line of sight for mom or dad, depending what mode you're using. Jacob, is there more that you might add to that sentiment?
Yeah, I think that I think that's a good call out, Alex. The we see a lot once you start utilizing the Jubilee TV remote, especially the original TV remote where you can change the inputs, right? Like that's one of those things where you want to like pull out the batteries and put it in a drawer, so that mom or dad don't get off of the input on the TV for the Jubilee TV console. But yeah, in general, in um, usage modes, the app here does like a really good job of explaining like the features and functionality of each, and kind of justifying why like when you have this usage mode set, right, the 6 button remote usage mode, like this is the primary remote that you're going to want to use.
Perfect. Thank you, Jacob. A few more
Yep.
questions related to the simplified remotes. Amy asked, can you report, or sorry, this is related to activity feed.
Yep.
If she's using the non-Jubilee TV remote in one of these passive modes, so I guess the 6 button remote or the simplified cover, will activity feeds still pick up on those activity, I'm sorry, on those those activities? Yeah, that's the right word.
It, yes, it will. So you see here where it says Jubilee TV remote use. Let me get into the hour. The 7 p.m. Jubilee TV remote use. If you're not utilizing the Jubilee TV remote, it will say um uh like
A
no,
non,
it won't, sorry. The It will only show you remote use if you utilize the Jubilee TV remote. But if the TV is powered on or off by something other than the Jubilee TV remote, then it'll say the TV was powered off by a non-Jubilee TV source. But in order for like the activity feed event to appear here, the Jubilee TV remote button press has to occur.
yeah. And then again, to reemphasize, you wouldn't want them to be using their regular remote. If they're using the Jubilee TV, you would want them to be using our remote or one of our simplified remotes. The only time they should be using the original remote is if they're in the original remote passive mode option. In which case, then you would, you could see those activity notifications. Two additional questions that are related, Jacob. The first
Yep,
one comes from Jeremy. Will the chime function for finding the remote work on the 6 button remote?
it does not. Unfortunately, it just works on the Jubilee TV remote.
Yeah, yeah, that's correct. And I was gonna say the smaller remote doesn't have that, I guess, chime built into it, for lack of better words.
Correct.
Another question from Amy. If their loved one is using the simplified remote or the limited remote, can they accept a video call?
They cannot, and so the uh, great kind of example of like a feature that is disabled when you're using a specific usage mode. If you are using the 6 button remote, auto connect video calling is the only option that you have. You don't have the option for a regular video call because the 6 button remote doesn't have that green check in red X for the TV user to accept or dismiss that video call. So you can still use video calling. It's just auto connect with the intention that the TV user doesn't have to interact with the TV in order to start that video call.
Yeah. So yeah, to Jacob's point exactly, they can still use video calls, but you have to auto connect to have that go through. Connie just asked the same question. If dad is in passive mode using his existing cable remote, can he accept a video call manually? The answer is no. He would just have to use auto
Same
connect.
behavior.
Yeah,
Yep.
perfect. Amy also asked, what is the difference between the remote cover passive mode and then the 6 button passive mode, since they're both limited in a similar way, if you will.
Um, I don't. So I mean, the actually, I think the experience is quite similar. Um, the With the cover, the previous button is still exposed, where on the 6 button remote that's not present. But as far as the Jubilee TV features that are like disabled, um, the it's the same between the 6 button remote as well as the remote with the remote cover.
It almost comes down to preference. I believe the
That's a
six
yeah, good way
button
to put it.
Yeah, the 6 button remote is so small and so simple with the least amount of buttons that if your loved one is living with Alzheimer's or dementia, or really is in a state where the larger remote or any additional buttons could be overwhelming for them, then that might be a better option than this one in this case. But depending on your loved one's cognitive abilities, it might just be preference, but it really is case by case. Um, one more question, then we can move on. Um, if mom is using cable and does not have other apps like Netflix, they would not need a Roku, correct? So I believe this would just be
Correct.
a linear TV case.
Correct.
Correct.
Yep. The yeah, if they don't watch streaming apps, then you'll just use your existing cable box, and there's no need to get a Roku.
Perfect. And Jacob, can we clarify as well? So there's three HDMI inputs on the Jubilee TV box, but then let's say in that instance they don't need to use any of those HDMI inputs. They would just be using the smart TV plug on the TV device to plug into their set-top box for cable, correct?
Um,
Or actually, sorry, now
I'm not
I'm
sure I'm following. Yeah.
so there's three additional source device inputs that can be used in addition to the input for a cable or a set-top box integration, correct?
No, so you have let's see here. You have three inputs, and so three source devices. So blue, one, two, three. And so if you have the cable or satellite set-top box, that will go into input one. If you have a Roku, that'll go into input two. If you have a DVD player, that could go into input three. You can use up to three, and you have to have at least one. And then the white HDMI out here sends the signal to the TV.
Perfect. Thank you. Sorry if
Yep.
that confused anyone. Just wanted to
No.
clarify how the difference between streaming and then cable and how that would plug into your device. Um, Let's see. One more question from Amy, and then we can move on. If your loved one's facility, home, etc., lost power, when it comes back on, will everything on the Jubilee TV reboot and kind of power back up as normal? Or would someone need to physically go to reset any portion of the device or otherwise?
Yeah, and it- everything will just like kind of power back on as if like it's similar to like other appliances in your home, right? So like when the power goes out, your refrigerator isn't powered. When it comes back on, the refrigerator kicks on. Um, the Jubilee TV and all the source devices perform the same way. Um, so yeah, they just can pop back on. Nobody has to physically be there to like reconnect things. It may take a couple of seconds, right, for everything to boot back up, especially if you're like in a community setting, right? Like a lot of power, right? The internet might take a little bit to turn back on too, but it all just kind of boots back up itself.
Perfect. Cool. Were there any other features that we wanted to run through today, Jacob?
I wasn't planning on walking through any others unless there's like questions specific to them, or if you think I should walk through anything else.
Yeah, no, there's a few other questions still here, so we can just start running through
Okay.
those. And then if anyone has a question or another feature they'd want us to walk through, just leave that in the chat and we can get to that one as well. And Linda, I just saw your hand is raised. We will get to you once we get through the rest of the questions in the chat here. A question that just came in from Chris regarding the question that we just ran through about not having Roku. If their cable provider offers streaming through their interface, can they access those streaming options through the Jubilee TV?
Yes. Um, I think I can actually show this to you. If I remember correctly. So DirecTV, if I go to the guide, um, I think there's like a Netflix. So that what in yeah, right here. So I've seen this before, right? The like Spectrum will have like a channel, if you will, that's just for an app, right? And so yes, you can access that through the actual like kind of cable source device. Um, it would be the equivalent of if that cable source device was just like plugged directly into your TV. So if it's plugged into your TV and you can use it in that manner, then the same applies for Jubilee TV.
Perfect. And just to confirm, I know very much at the top of the call, Mike had a question about scheduling the TV to turn on and tune to a specific channel. So this would be a reminder with an automated action. I
Yep.
believe we covered that maybe 30 to 40 minutes ago, but just wanted to confirm if there's anything else you'd want to add there, Jacob.
Um, I'll repeat it briefly. If you want to pre-schedule the TV to take an action, then you'll just create a reminder with an automated action, as Alex said. And as you're going through that process, you'll choose what time, what channel you want to tune to. as well as like if that's like something that should recur on a daily basis or a weekly basis. And the time in which that happens, when we demoed it earlier, I believe we tuned to the news. It'll appear on the TV for 15 seconds. 15 seconds later, it'll take that action and tune to that channel.
Perfect. And once you have the Jubilee TV app, our product team has done a really wonderful job of including on-screen instructions to guide you through both setting a reminder and then setting a reminder with an automated action. So there's a lot of, it's not as daunting as it may seem. And then, of course, if you ever were to have a question about any of our features, we're available every day by email, by phone call, and we also have a member community. And so once you are a Jubilee TV member, you can join our member group on Facebook. There's about 1,700 people that are in the community currently. And so I'm in there answering questions every day, but then other members typically will share their experiences and answer questions as well. So there's a nice community that is always around to help if you were to have an issue in it or a question in any way, shape, or form. Um, One question that came in from Toshiko. This is regarding having two Jubilee TVs under one account. There's a few different things I could say here. The first one is when you start with Jubilee TV, you need a Jubilee TV you need a console per TV. So if your loved one has two TVs in their home that you want them to have the Jubilee TV set up on, you would need two separate Jubilee TV consoles, one for each TV. And currently, you can have one on your account, but the team is actively working to set up and be able to offer multiple consoles under one account. Um, I don't want to speak too soon, but this should be coming in the next month or so. And so if you're an existing customer, Jubilee TV member, or a prospective member, I would recommend starting with one console, and then in 4 weeks or so, just look out from an announcement from myself and the team about how you can add an additional unit to your account. Um, Toshiko, to your question specifically, it's semi-related to what I just said, but I wanted to say that first. In his instance, his friend is living in an assisted community, but his friend's wife still lives at home. And so his question is, would they need two separate accounts? In this case, the answer is yes. You would need a separate Jubilee TV account per household is kind of a good way to look at it. Typically, you'll want a separate account per TV user. So in this instance, each of them would need a different Jubilee TV account for their different residences.
Yeah, and there's like how the features are interacted with is a key call out there too, right? So if you have two Jubilee TV consoles in the same residence, right, the same household as Alex says, if you make a video call, for example, it's going to ring on both of those devices, and then wherever the TV user is in their home, they can accept the video call on one TV, and it'll stop ringing on the other TV. Or when you're doing an auto connect video call, you choose which TV you want to ring to. Messages that are sent will appear on both TVs. Photos that are sent will appear on both TVs. And so for two different people, right, that live in two different settings, you'd want to look at two different memberships. And then there's ways for like you as an app user to have access to like multiple TV users from within your login. So you don't have to worry about like logging out and logging in just to access both of those memberships.
Perfect. This question came in a bit earlier from an anonymous member. Um, I don't believe I think it's somebody who's considering Jubilee TV, but I guess it's relevant in either case.
Yeah.
If their elderly parent has DirecTV Stream and it automatically goes on pause after 4 hours, it sounds like they see a message after 4 hours that says, "Hey, are you still watching?" Is there a way that they can address or remove that? In this instance, their loved one doesn't interact with the remote at all, and so I believe the concern would be if the Jubilee TV is on for more than 4 hours or the regular TV is on, how they could avoid that message from popping up on the TV screen. I believe they would have to disable it outside of the Jubilee TV using the original remote, but I'll pass it over to you, Jacob, to expand.
Yeah, so I'm familiar with that message because I use DirecTV and I get that are you still watching message. There might be a setting in the actual DirecTV specifically that allows you to turn that off so that the content keeps playing. That's not something like for the way we kind of look at that, right, is that's downstream of Jubilee TV, if you will, right? Like that message will appear whether or not it's connected to Jubilee TV or not connected to Jubilee TV. If there's not a setting to disable that within the DirecTV set-top box, um, the and mom or dad don't, if your loved one doesn't interact with the remote, um, I hate to like have to recommend like I mean you can use Telescope to like dismiss it for them. You'd be checking like every 4 hours. It's honestly the best bet would be to like see if there's the direct TV setting that you can disable so that message never appears. But I'm familiar with that message and wish I kind of had a better recommendation, but unfortunately it's a direct TV thing.
Gotcha. Perfect. I'm going to move along to two other questions that are related to the camera on the Jubilee TV device and kind of
Yep.
talking about the privacy element. The first question comes from Leona. She wanted to know if the camera cover can be secured. Her loved one has Alzheimer's and is always fiddling with things, and so she wouldn't want her to accidentally close the camera cover on her device. I can answer this one quickly. So essentially, there's a little slide camera cover. And so when you set up the device for your mom or your loved one, you'll want to make sure that the camera is slid open, which is what Jacob is showing currently on his screen. Um, what you could do is you could take a piece of tape and then tape it over the camera lid or cover, if you will. That way it doesn't accidentally get moved, or it'd be harder for your loved one to accidentally slide it closed. The other thing I would recommend, though, if they do tend to fiddle with things, is um, most of our members will mount the Jubilee TV console to the top of the TV. And so in this instance, if your loved one's TV is mounted on a high shelf or it's mounted on the wall, sorry, if their TV is mounted in one of those places, I would put the Jubilee TV box on top. That way it's out of reach for them. That's probably your best bet is essentially one, taping down the cover so that it's open, but then putting the console in a place that's harder for them to fiddle with it. Is there anything you would add to that, Jacob? And then I'll move on to the second portion of the question.
Nope. Yeah, I think they were good recommendations. I was going to say tape or some some sort of uh, just the extra. It doesn't lock automatically. So just taping kind of around that area would be my recommendation too.
Perfect. And we have had members who have shared that they've also created or they've added like a wall mount or a floating shelf next to their TV and put the Jubilee TV on that shelf as well, just to give it a little more height. You'd also want to consider, though, that the camera, the higher up you put it on a wall or on the TV, you might have to tilt it downwards so that the camera is capturing more of the room where your loved one is walking around, sitting, etc. Um, there's also been some fun instances of people who have kind of hidden the device like around flowers or other things to kind of make it seem more natural in their loved one's room so it's not as jarring if they are someone who might be freaked out by the introduction of something new to the room. The second portion of this question comes from Mike. Mike, this is more on the privacy concern side of things. So, what kind of privacy or safety is protecting access from the camera and the video capabilities? Specifically, it sounds like in terms of, let's say, an outside party trying to hack in or use or access the Jubilee TV camera. Um, and if you could answer in non-technical terms, which you were going to do anyways, but he specifically
Sure.
asked, would be perfect.
Yeah. As we kind of discussed earlier, right? Like the only way to utilize the Jubilee TV features is to be invited, right? And so the primary admin invites somebody via email. That person accepts their invitation and then receives access to the membership. And so we call it a walled garden approach, right? There's literally no other way for somebody to be able to access any features of Jubilee TV, whether it's a video calling or drop in, without receiving that invitation.
Perfect. Sorry, I'm just responding to one and then I'll
Sure,
get back
no
going.
worries.
So Leona, I just typed out an answer to your question, but just to throw it out there live as well, she wanted to know if a pet will set off the camera for presence detection. The answer is yes, as long as there's adequate lighting in the room, then any change in people in the room should cause that camera event to trigger. Um, if the pet is small or sly, it might not pick up on it, but it probably would catch that pet. Jacob, would you agree with that one?
Yeah, and so our team is like can constantly like regularly like improving the presence detection model. It's optimized for humans, right? The so I was earlier my dog followed me in here and I don't think it like detected Ollie, but he was kind of like hidden behind me. Um, what I can say is it's optimized for like human presence detection. And so like the like for example there's and I mentioned this because our team is working on it. Uh one of our members, they have a photo on the wall, and the presence detection like keeps detecting that as a person, like the photo on the wall. And so like we're working on a solution to that. But yeah, what I'd say is it's optimized for humans. And and that's when like that presence detection will kick off. What I'll also say is if there's a what we call false presence detection, you can report that in the app, right? And so like you go in and say, hey, this wasn't a person, so you can report that as a false detection.
Perfect. Thank you, Jacob.
Yep,
Um, there's one question that came in on pricing. I'll take a quick crack at this one, and then if you want to
sure.
add anything or I miss anything, let me know. But Arden asked about a little bit, if we could talk a little bit about the different membership cost and the structure of those different options. So on our website, we currently offer a rental model, and so you don't. We used to have it set up so that you would have to purchase the Jubilee TV hardware. Um, but now we have a rental model where you don't have to actually purchase the hardware. That way, you don't have to pay the expense of purchasing the hardware from us. And then, if your needs change or you change your mind about using the product, you would just ship it back to us very simply without having to worry about ever paying for the console itself. And so, on our website, we have three different options for that rental plan. There's monthly, there's yearly, and then there's like an all-in lifetime option. So for our monthly plan, it is $39 a month. Our yearly plan is $389 per year. And then our all-in plan, which is essentially a lifetime plan, that has no recurring fees, that would be $789 forever. And so for lack of better words, it really comes down to the individual instance and the health of your loved one. So, if you anticipate using Jubilee TV for several years with your loved one, then our lifetime plan would be the most cost efficient. But if your loved one maybe is in a state or a time when their age or their any ailments they might have are progressing too quickly, then that's when we would recommend like a monthly plan or a yearly plan, something that allows you to test out using the device and use it um, in the shorter term until your loved one's, I guess, needs are more specifically are confidently known. So it really is case by case. Our yearly and lifetime plans are going to save you a little bit. But really, again, it just comes down to individual family preference and needs. A quick thing I'll add here too as well for anyone joining our call today, you'll be receiving a code from me that gives you your first 2 months of Jubilee TV free. So that way, if you have any questions or want to try out the software or the product without, I guess, concern around that initial fee, you'll have 2 months to try the product for free. And then you wouldn't be charged until your third month of subscription. So that's when you'd start seeing that $39 charge. And then, of course, we also have a 60-day guarantee. So, in those first 2 months, if you decide that the product isn't for you, you can send it back to us and we'll refund everything. We'll refund those first 2 months if you decide not to use the code for those 2 months free. And we also will pay the return shipping label. So, if you're on the fence, I would recommend just giving Jubilee TV a try. And then, if you need to return it, we're very flexible with that in those first 60 days. The other thing I'll mention here before I run out of breath is you can purchase the Jubilee TV console on Amazon as well. If you go on Amazon, you could actually purchase the console. And so, um, like I mentioned before, we offer rental on our website because that's a cheaper entry point and allows more families to use Jubilee TV. But if you did want to own the unit for whatever reason, um, you could purchase it directly on Amazon. That would be $199 to purchase, and then there's a subscription fee on top of the purchase. And so that again, it really just comes down to preference. But if you did that route, then you would own your console, and then you could always resell it or gift it when you no longer need it. But personally, if it were me, I would go for the rental model just to give you that flexibility of being able to, I guess, not have to pay for the hardware and then send it back when you no longer need the device. With that, I'll just hand it off to you, Jacob, in case you'd add anything else there.
No, great overview. The only thing I'd add is the different plans are really just billing cycles. Like so, like a membership equals a membership, right? So like you get everything as a part of your like all of the features as a part of your Jubilee TV membership. So it doesn't matter if it's monthly, annual, or all in from a feature standpoint. Really is just like your preference from a billing cycle standpoint.
Perfect. Leona had a follow-up on the pricing. So yes, it's $39 a month. And then yes, when you no longer need it, you would just mail it back to us. She said it's very similar to Hero medication dispenser, which they recently used. I can't speak to that personally, but
Yeah, me neither.
yeah, essentially you would rent the product, and then when you no longer need it, you would just send it back to us, and our team would help with the shipping label and all that stuff. So it's not I wouldn't stress about it. Is kind of the way I would answer that one. Um,
Yeah, it's a super seamless process, honestly. Like when you no longer need Jubilee TV, you go in and you cancel your membership. Like you generate the shipping label right there. We email it to you, and then once you so it's a prepaid shipping label we give to you. All we ask for you is to drop it off at the post office, and then it gets shipped back to us. And then once we receive it, we close out your membership.
Yeah, I would say the most difficult part is probably going to be the post office itself. If you live in a busy area like myself, you might be in a 12-person line at the USPS, and it's never a fun time. Um, but anyway, a question from Jeannie. If their loved one only has a coax cable, is there a way to use a coax to HDMI converter to connect the Jubilee TV box, or is the coax kind of a end all be all, as that's not gonna work out?
Yeah, so we require an HDMI input. And so like if you are able to find like a coax to HDMI converter that works well for you, like if, as long as we can receive an HDMI input, then that could work. Um, the my kind of like personal recommendation is if you're going to go that route, buy something that like what I would call like middle of the market. Right. I don't think you have to buy like a device that's like super expensive, but also don't buy like the cheapest one. I could just general like when it comes to buying electronics. I've seen in the past where like some of those super cheap tuners just like aren't reliable, completely separate from Jubilee TV. But technically possible as long as you're putting an HDMI input into the Jubilee TV console.
Perfect. A slightly longer question from Janet, so do bear with me
Okay.
as I run through this one. Janet has a Roku box in one HDMI input and a cable box Xfinity in the other input. The consult is not detecting the cable box. Is there a general solution for this, or is it a better bet for her to just call customer service? Secondly, her mom wants to watch one show that she can only get on YouTube. When she shuts off the TV, um, does she have to navigate to YouTube? Is there a way where the system can always go to that specific program on video? I'm sorry, on YouTube when she turns it on. To the second part of your question, Janet, unfortunately, no. If you have Roku and YouTube is set up as a favorite, you can open YouTube for her, but then you'll have to manually go to that video for her. There is one shortcut that would work here, and that's our quick share feature. And so
Yeah.
the way quick share works, and this is actually probably exactly what you were looking for, so I apologize for not leading with this. Um, if you have the URL for the video and you go into our telescope feature, you can actually paste the URL to that YouTube video within Telescope and then press enter. And Telescope will launch that YouTube. It'll launch YouTube and then it'll launch that specific video for your loved one within the YouTube app. Um, so that would require you to manually go and put the link into Telescope and press enter. But after you do that, it'll load up for your loved one. The only caveat is that you can't do that for YouTube playlists, just individual YouTube videos. And then Jacob, her initial question, would you like me to repeat that or do you have that one?
No, I got it here. The Xfinity not appearing. The A couple of things to check. Verify the HDMI cable works. So like maybe try a different HDMI cable. Make sure the Xfinity box is turned on. So if the Xfinity box is not turned on, then the console won't detect that as an input. Those are two quick things you can check. I'd also welcome a call into to our support team, and they could look at it specific to your device and your environment as well.
Yeah, and Janet, I just took a note down, so I'll send you a follow-up email tomorrow, and then you can let us know any additional information and chat with the team as well. Um, let's see, a question from Steve. He has a DirecTV stream inactivity question. Is it possible to set an automated reminder on the Jubilee TV that selects a channel and then wakes the unit and dismisses the inactivity question message? If that makes sense.
Potentially, honestly, it's a good idea, Steve. I'd have to test it out. Um, but I guess the long and the short of it is like, could you like the equivalent of you tuning to a channel, right? So like just like typing in a channel number, if you scheduled that with a reminder and that activity message was on, like will it just wake the device? Um, I'm gonna try that out. I have to wait a couple of hours for that inactivity message to appear. But now I'm curious. The potentially would be my kind of immediate response.
Perfect. A question from Connie. When a reminder is on the screen, does it block the TV viewing?
Somewhat. So my heart medication reminder actually just sent because it's I think you set it for 8 o'clock. Um, so this is what it looks like. Like so kind of like it overlays on top, and so like you can still hear the TV volume coming through, and you can kind of like see it around this little box, but it sits on top of that box here.
Perfect. That is all of the sorry, the questions that were in the Q&A chat. It looks like we answered just about 55, so that's awesome.
Awesome.
Thank you guys. If you have any additional questions, feel free to drop those in the chat. Linda, I know you did have a hand raised earlier. I'm gonna allow you to talk really quick and unmute you. If you still have that live question, feel free to answer to speak it now. But if you aren't here, just let me know if you don't want me to do that. Let's see here. Ah, there you are. Perfect. And then feel free to leave your camera off if you're not comfortable. Looks like you're good to go though. So, hi.
Um, Okay, so my dad gets things in the mail. My dad has Alzheimer's,
Mhm.
and I have no other way of trying to see his things that he gets in the mail. We only go over there once a week because we live so far away. While the Jubilee has been an absolute lifesaver and uplifting for everybody in the family. And it has meant so much for me and my dad to see each other every day. But he gets things in the mail and he tries to hold them up to the camera, but it just does not get good enough for me to see it. I guess that's my thing.
Yeah.
Do y'all have anything or y'all working on anything that could actually like take a picture of something and send it to a loved one on his end, not mine?
Yeah. So first, thank you for the comments. It's heartwarming for us. I mean, I won't. I'll speak for myself and for actually all of our team. Like we wake up and do what we do every day for those stories, and so thank you for sharing that. Um,
I could go on and on for what this has done for me, but I will start crying too. So
the
this has been phenomenal.
that's awesome. Yeah. So not that I know of, right? As far as like things that we're working on, honestly, kind of what you're already doing would be my recommendation is to like have him hold it up to the camera.
I just
Um,
can't read it that way. It's just
yeah,
not good
exactly.
enough. It's too grainy.
Yeah. Um, Yeah, not that not that I know of. We can talk to our product team and like the Alex and I aren't as familiar with everything that they're thinking about, and
Right.
see if they have anything uh in the works. But yeah, unfortunately not.
He doesn't have the mindset to be able to take a picture with a phone and send it to me. That's just not, I mean, he does good to answer the phone.
Yeah.
I'll just say that. And sometimes he forgets and he answers the remote instead of the phone.
Uh,
So, anyhow, you have to kind of take it in jest and chuckle at it. But there are times that I need to see what he's seeing, and yeah, it's hard to. Sometimes I don't have the liberty of saying, "Okay, well, why don't you just wait for a week for me to come over?"
right.
Because some things are a little more pressing.
Yeah. I don't know, just a suggestion from another one of our listeners here from Chris. She suggested for you, Linda, to sign up for a mail delivery notification through USPS. And it sounds like that way you would get pictures of all the mail that gets delivered. Does that sound
I
like
do
something that
that.
maybe?
I do
Oh,
that, but all you get
perfect.
pictures of is the
It's the
outside,
outside.
Yeah,
not the inside. Yeah.
gotcha. Thank you,
um,
Chris, for the suggestion.
oh,
Um,
definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
we'll talk to our product team and see if they have any other ideas. But it's good
And it would
feedback,
also be
honestly.
helpful whenever, like, say he has a headache, and I want to make sure of what bottle he's getting medicine
Right.
out of.
hmm,
It might say Tylenol, but he might not be able to pronounce it.
hmm,
So these are just examples and thoughts that I can foresee that would really help us. So, but honestly, this is so great for us. You have no idea
I'm so
how
glad.
amazing this has been. And this helps me to be able to watch him and kind of see what he's doing without me constantly talking to him. And viewing in on him to check on him has been great. Um, and I like the fact that we can turn, if more of my kids want to get on and be able to talk to him, at least I can turn off some of the video seeing for them to see him because he does have Alzheimer's and sometimes those shirts, etc., don't always stay on. So yeah, but yes, it guys, hands down, I'm blown away. This has been, and I plan on bringing this up to the our current Alzheimer's chapter as
hmm.
a great source for their loved ones as well.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Um,
Thank you so much, Linda.
I'm really, yeah, and I know, Jacob, just echoing the same sentiment. We're very grateful that the device has been able to do so much good for your loved one. But then also to your point, or not to your point, but I know Jacob also just took a note down, but we will follow up with some additional information that we get after we talk with our product director. And then also, if you need any additional information for your local Alzheimer's chapter, we can also, or for his local chapter. Um, I would also be able to send over some additional resources as well. But again,
Yes,
thank
if
you
you
for,
could send that to me, that would be amazing.
yeah,
I would love to get it out to so many people that I know.
yeah, no, we can absolutely help with that. But
Yeah.
yeah, but thank you so much for all the kind words, Linda. And again, we'll follow up with additional anything we can help with. We will be following up with. So,
Thank you. This enables him to be able to live in his home
yeah,
that I grew up in as long as he can. Um, I don't know what the future's going to look like. He turns 88 this year, and I'm thankful for every day we have.
yeah. I mean,
But
I'm keeping them at home longer and in that comfortable environment is exactly what
exactly,
we hope for. And again,
it
it's like,
is.
that's the
And you
place that
just
he
gave us a
likes.
tool that is just, it's almost something taking it out of the Jetsons. Whenever going back to maybe the cartoons that we used to watch.
Yeah,
But well,
I'm
thank you
really glad.
guys, and I appreciate your trying to look into my question.